Hello and welcome. This video is going to be a what sold video, and it's for the end of March, so March 22nd to March 31st. In order to try to get everything caught up, what I'm going to do is every other video you see from me until I catch up on my sale videos is going to be a what sold video. Before I felt like I had to have a couple of videos in between, but that's obviously not working because I'm 2 months behind in my what solds. Granted, I do sell kind of everything, so I feel like a lot of the stuff I'm going to share with you today would still sell now, so I still think it's accurate. I'm gonna flop over to here and we're gonna start with my lowest performing platform first, which is Poshmark. No surprise there. So I actually sold a bundle on Poshmark, which I was super stoked about because of the fact that both of these items were stuff from me when I worked at Adidas. If you don't know, I used to work for Adidas for 4 years. So you can continue to say Adidas, that is the American way and only the American way. But Adidas is named after its founder, Adolf Dassler, whose nickname was Adi. So Adi Dassler, Adidas. So just so you know, it is a German company. But I sold these two samples. So these two sample hoodies were full zip, like they zipped all the way up to where you could not see your face anymore. And they had a fuzzy velveteen present, like a bow on the back of each of these. Both of these were from Adidas Originals and they were never put into productions. That's what samples are for, is they send out a bunch of designs, they get samples back, sometimes multiple times, and then they decide if they actually want to put it in production or not. These two items were never put in production, so this is the only way you're going to get these. And I actually bought these from Adidas when I worked there for about $10 a piece, but that was, you know, over a decade ago. So at this point, I'm going to say it's $0. But ignore the prices that you saw on the screen. The bundle itself sold for $45, and I had to do, well, I did do a shipping discount only because of the fact that I was just grateful to see them go off to a new home. We're gonna pick up Miss Moxie because she is here. Say hello, baby. And then we're gonna flop over here. So we're gonna get an Etsy now, and I actually had 2 sales on Etsy. I sold this set of 4 Prada glasses by Libby. These are from the 60s. They have what looks like puff paint on them. They were made that way because these are hand wash only. Most vintage glassware is hand wash only. It literally felt and looked like puff paint, but it is not. It was made that way. And I sold 4 of these, and I'm just grateful that they sold pretty quickly considering it is vintage glassware. So really happy about that. And they sold for my full asking price of $15, and of course the buyer had to pay for shipping. On my Etsy store, I have it set where if an item is $35 or more, it's free shipping, and I price accordingly in case that happens. And I sold this piece. This is a vintage 80s, 90s, I don't really know, windbreaker. It is from Levon, not really a brand. It's more of a style thing. I pick up these color blocked windbreakers whenever I can find them for really cheap. I found this for exceptionally cheap. So at $35 and paying roughly like $8 for shipping, A+ for me. I'm really happy with this, and I'm glad that it moved on to a new home. Again, this is something that I had to cross post in order to get it in the right place. I should really just cross post everything to Etsy because that seems to be the move to make. I'm gonna pick up Miss Moxie again, and we're gonna go over to eBay because eBay is our main bay. It's what keeps Moxie in her cat food and litter, with also y'all's help with the Buy Me a Coffee. So again, thank you. The video after this one will be my March recap because now we are caught up on solds, so I can deliver that to you. So I will definitely have bunches of people to thank for helping me take care of Miss Moxie. But I'm gonna start with eBay, and this is an international sale, which I was really surprised about. This is Everybody by Moda, and this is a pair of moccasins and a size 8 US. I do, when the item has it on there, I try to list the UK and the European sizes in shoes because I do make a bunch of international sales, and I do think it actually helps. These sold for my full asking price of $19.87, and I found these for $6 at other store. This next item is something that came in a men's thredUP box, so perfectly content to see this move for $12.50 because that buy cost was roughly $4 for that box. So this, I was perfectly happy. I love buying and selling J. Crew if I can get it for really cheap, because even though it's a mall brand and you can't get for it what you used to be able to like 4 years ago, it still sells really consistently for me. So this sold for $12.50 and the buyer paid padded flat rate for shipping. This is something I listed for a Money Pile Monday video. This is that 90s Prestige 2-button dead stock blazer. Absolutely gorgeous. I do wish this had fit me properly. Again, them shoulders. It was not happening, but I'm really happy that this found a new home. This is basically pure profit because it came from that big vintage buyout and I've already paid myself back for that. So this is $40 of pure profit and the buyer paid $10.40 for the padded flat rate. So amazing sale, and I'm glad I went to a new home. I do like to pick up Life is Good whenever I can get it for cheap enough, so $3 or less, because it consistently sells for me between the $10 and $15 mark. That's what I can get for it. If you can get more for that, again, you do you. But I was perfectly happy to let this go for $9.50. I believe I paid, you know, I either paid $1 for it or $3 for it. I can't remember. It doesn't really matter. It all goes out in the wash when I do my taxes. So it sold for $9.50, and again, happy that this moved. This I purchased in that Thriftmas video you guys never saw, or one of the many Thriftmas videos you guys will never see. This is a pair of spider leggings. I just wanted to try them. I picked these up at the Goodwill in Williamsburg, originally intending it for Thriftmas. I paid $5 for these and they sold for $10.50. I had hoped that I would like the way that they fit, but I did not. And then I was like, all right, well, I want to try the brand anyway. So I just went ahead and did it. I doubled my money, so that's good. This is something that I also listed for Money Pile Monday. This is a set of 5. It's very rare that I will sell odd number items, but because this is so on trend right now, I was just like, you know what? More is more. So I listed all 5 of them. They sold for my full asking price of $26.87. These are the Westbin ThermoServe mugs, and they are in the classic late 70s styling of wood paneling. So they look like faux wood paneling, like tumblers, but they're plastic. So again, super perfect. I paid, I think, $2 for these. So happy about that sale. The next item, I sold 1 dinner plate from this set. I picked this up for Thriftmas in Pocosin. I paid $14 for a milk crate full of this dishware. This is glass. I think it's from the 80s. I'm not 100% sure. But I sold it for $12.87 and the buyer paid $12 for shipping. This is what I will do 99% of the time when I am picking up these dishware sets, is I will normally just do a variation listing so people can replace things that have broken from their own sets, and it works out very well for me, as you can see. This you guys have already seen if you have been a part of my community for a while. I listed this because this was another Money Pile Monday item. I had this for a very long time. I think I paid $5 for this at an estate sale, and it was during COVID when all estate sales were online only, and I won a lot of 2 dresses for 10 bucks. And this was one of them. And when I finally went around to listing it, I found out that Melania Trump had worn it. And so I put her photo in the photo, as you guys see here. It sold almost immediately for $70. They sent me an offer and I happily accepted this. And this was another international sale. This actually went over to Norway, which I was surprised about. But this was super fast flip and they loved it and they sent me positive feedback. So I don't know. This is a Polo Ralph Lauren silk dress that had a wrap tie and it was pinstriped, just so you know, and it had like a roll, you could roll the cuffs up, which is what Melania did here in this picture. So this is a great sale, a big surprise, and super happy about this. This is one of my favorite things to do. I did get a lot of these blouses in the big vintage buyout that I did, and if it comes with a matching tie, I have decided I have discovered that instead of just using it as a pussy bow, so tying it around the neck and doing that, take a picture like that, but also if it's not attached to the collar in any way, shape, or form, I need to take a stylized shot like this because that has moved them lightning fast. I think people don't necessarily have the imagination to realize that it doesn't just have to be a necktie. You could use it in the hair like I'm using. This is a scarf. Like this is a whole fluffy neck scarf that I'm using to do my milk braids today. So you could use it for that, or you could use it as I did here and do a belted waist and maybe do like some Spanx faux leather leggings, or, you know, just do a really cute big wide flare leg. I don't know, you can, or a pencil skirt. You can do lots of things with this. And anytime I have done this with a 70s piece, it has immediately sold. So this sold for my full asking price of $21.87. And again, because it's from the Big Vintage File, it's 100% profit. This next item, I think this is one that I actually picked up at an estate sale. Normally I will just pick up like vintage scarves when I find them and I think they're really cute, or they're good material, or they're a good brand. So I probably paid like cents for this, and it's sold. This is or this was something that Michael gave me. I'm not 100% sure, so I'm sorry, Michael, if this is something you gave me. This is a 31-inch square statement scarf, and it was said it was made in Italy. So it sold for $3.90. So I either made 100% profit or a lot of profit. And maybe not necessarily a lot of profit. That's maybe not the best word, because it sold for less than $5, but you get it. It's a beautiful vintage piece that's not going in the trash. This is the Vintage Betty Crocker Outdoor Cookbook. I picked up a bunch of these Vintage Betty Crocker books from the 70s at an estate sale. They charged me like 50 cents a book. So this sold for $4.14, and buyer paid for shipping. I'm perfectly happy with that. This is a success story for Fix It Friday. See here, I styled this on Karen, and it sold for my full asking price of $14.87. This is the Nationals, which is the Washington MLB team. It was brand new with tags. I paid $2 for this at an estate sale, where I got like a bunch of vintage and modern country t-shirts and t-shirts. I don't know. It was a good find, and again, so happy about this. This was part of that Thriftmas video in Williamsburg that you guys didn't get to see. This is a ModCloth sweater. Both of these sold super fast. I rarely find my ModCloth in my area, and I pick it up whenever I find it, because just like my friend Victoria, it does sell very well for me. Sold for my full asking price of $19.87. Super happy about this. This is something that you guys did see me pick up for Thriftmas. This is Geiger of Austria. Geiger specializes in woolen wear, and their stuff is pricey. Most of their stuff sells for over $200, depending on what it is. More is more. So when I saw this, and I was like, yep, I'm taking this home, and it sold very quickly on offer for $47.90. So if you see Geiger of Austria, I definitely recommend picking it up, because you can get a pretty penny for it. Even in the summer. Again, they sold this at the end of March. I know that's still kind of technically the beginning of spring, but I would still pick this up if it doesn't have any holes, which this didn't. So this, I have Stephanie to thank. She bought this from me. This is a book I picked up at the bins for 50 cents. I thought about reading it for myself and keeping it, because I do have a degree in history, but I ended up just listing it, I think, for Money Pile Monday, and Stephanie bought it. So hopefully, Stephanie, you actually read it. She bought it for me for $1.87. So did I make a whole lot of profit? No, but did I save a book from going in the landfill? Yes. And hopefully you enjoyed it, and I appreciate it. This is a book about Andrew Jackson, who was a president of America, if you did not know that. Tight. This next item is an Eileen Fisher cardigan. I think I picked this up in Gloucester. I'm not 100% sure, but I paid probably $5 or less for this, and it sold for $25. Perfectly happy about this. I am getting a little bit pickier about Eileen Fisher. I will only pick it up if it is my favorite type of fabrics, which are all natural fabrics, and this was merino wool, so that's why I picked it up. This is a vintage piece from the 70s. It's a Hawaiian Quartet piece. Quartet of California has been around probably since, I think, the 40s, if I remember correctly. If not, I will put the correction up here somewhere. But this sold for $15.90, and I paid 50 cents for this at an estate sale. So this was great. It did take a while to sell, but it did sell eventually. Everything sells eventually. This is something I sold similar. I would not recommend picking this up unless you're at the bins and you want to, and you need shorts, because it's short season. This is a Levi's 550. If it's the 505s made in the USA, I would definitely pick those up, but this is a 550, which is a type of short that's still made today. Someone still bought this for my full asking price of $12.87, and they paid for shipping. I do believe I picked this up at the bins, which is why you see it here. So pretty happy about that, and glad that it moved on to a new home and that I didn't have to redonate it. This is something else I picked up at the bins. This is actually by Leonard Nimoy. live long and prosper. But this was a book of poetry he wrote about his life and his wife and his children, and it was very lovely. It had pictures in it. I didn't know he wrote stuff like this, but this was from 1973. So I think after the original series ended, the Star Trek original series ended, and sold for $6.87. So I thought that this was great. I originally put this up on Whatnot and nobody bought it, so I put it up on eBay and somebody paid full price for it. So there we go. This is another vintage 70s piece from the big vintage buyout, so 100% profit. Sold for my full asking price of $21.87. This vintage 70s stuff, y'all. 70s is in. All of my 70s stuff is moving. This had the nice contrasting collar and cuffs. Bright red color. This went to somebody in New York. If it fits, I will put disco in the title, and that does also seem to help as well. This I picked up because it's 100% linen. This is Cynthia Rowley. I will pick up 100% linen items if they're not in great brands, because we are in that season, and if I think it's cute. And this was just a basic button front in this beautiful salmon color. So I picked it up and it sold for $11.90, and I paid $4 for this at a thrift store. I love my vintage, you guys know, because I sell it, and I love it. This is a men's pullover, but it was collared. It was a collared long sleeve sweatshirt polo. I don't know. It was really neat, and so I bought this. I got this one, and then I also got a color blocked brown one. The brown one is still up for sale, but this one sold pretty quickly considering what it is. And it sold for $17.50, and of course the buyer paid for shipping. This is a Columbia PFG. If you have any type of fishing gear in your death pile, I highly recommend selling it or getting it listed, because we are in the season of fishing. We are in fishing season. That is the correct way to say that sentence. This sold for my full asking price of $14.87. I will pick up Columbia PFG whenever I find it, as long as it doesn't have grody yellowing underneath the armpits and covered in fish guts and holes. So if it doesn't have any of those three things, I will pick it up. This is a vintage cookbook. I love selling books. You guys have already seen that, and I love selling vintage cookbooks as well. Especially these like really niche ones that are for either a restaurant or like a garden club or a junior club or whatever. Those are very collectible. Antique cookbooks are super collectible. This sold for $11.87, and this is from a like bed and breakfast restaurant in Louisiana. I just thought it was really cute. So I picked it up for 25 cents at the Ben's, and it sold for $11.87, my full asking price, so that was great. This piece is gorgeous. I could not leave this behind. This piece is absolutely beautiful, and I'm so glad I put it on the mannequin because it looks so much better. These blouson dresses, so if you're wondering what a blouson dress is, this is what a blouson dress is. It just means that like the top, here I can show it to you on me a little bit better. So like if you have a top like this, so this is a swing dress. It just basically is a big shapeless bag with armholes in it and a head hole. But a blouson dress would look like this, all right? So where it's got this like extra fabric, and it's just like, it's tight, but like fluffy. I don't know how to, the way that the top is draped, okay? So this part where the sleeves are up here with this like power shoulders, that's not the blouson part. The blouson part is how it has an elastic waist, and the top kind of like floops over the top. That's what the blouson part is. So this is from the 90s. This is Leslie Faye, and this is a blouson style dress with box pleated skirt, power shoulder sleeves, and this beautiful like dark floral. I just thought that this was gorgeous, and I could not leave this behind. This was $5 at a thrift store, and it sold so fast after I listed it, considering what it is, for $24.87. Again, dark floral and dark academia, if I can get away with putting it in the title, I will do so, because it sells things for me very quickly. Gorgeous dress. Glad someone else also thought it was just as beautiful. This is something that an ex gave to me a very, very long time ago. You know, 2011, a long time ago. I've just had it. It's moved around with me multiple places, but I don't need it or want it anymore, and so I finally washed it and sold it. Sold for $11.87. The buyer paid for shipping. Like, this was a gift because I like anime and
the person that I was with at the time did not understand that there are certain animes that I like, and Domo is not one of them, but you know, it's sold. It's going off hopefully to someone who's going to love it and appreciate a lot more than I have over the last decade. And the last item I have to share with y'all is this journal. Suzanne bought this for me. She actually bought two things for me. She bought this journal that's Becoming by Michelle Obama, which has little prompts and lovely little like motivational things throughout it. This was brand new. I picked this up at the bins. I believe I paid like 50 cents for this. But Suzanne also bought a Loot Crate t-shirt for me, but that went to the Bronco. So in these what sold videos, if I try to pull the Bronco stuff out, because you guys are already seeing that in the Bronco videos when I'm doing a mount update. So those aren't going to be in these what sold videos because you guys have already seen them in that, and I want to keep them separate. So Suzanne bought both of those things for me, but you're only seeing this because this was the only thing that wasn't a part of the Bronco funding. So Suzanne, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I hope that this has helped you become who you want to be and that you were writing in it. And there is a train. I live next to a big rail depot, so yay. I don't think you guys can probably hear it, but I can hear it, and it makes me happy whenever I hear the train whistles, because apparently that's a thing autistics like. They just like trains, and I've always liked trains, so that's a stereotype that is true. So that is everything I sold for the end of March. Again, next video you're going to see is going to be my monthly recap for March. Got a lot of stuff to talk about there, and I hope you guys are looking forward to that. And then after that, we will be doing every other what sold videos until we can get these caught up. And then I will either keep doing weekly what sold videos, or we make do like pull videos, like where I'm actually like pulling the items and like showing you what sold that day. I don't know. We'll see. I got 2 months of solds to get through, so I'll get over that bridge when I cross it. I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. That's the correct way to say that. I'm leaving now. Goodbye. Bye. Hero, hero. Hero, hero. I wanna be a hero, hero.